Okay, firstly, I can cut maybe across from what triggered violence in the country. Myself, I was in Eldoret Showground, which is in Rift Valley. So after around 6 months or so, it happened that we had to go back to our land. One of my friends was killed. He was called Mwangi. And I could not imagine going back to that land because I already knew that in my mind that those people who were my friends had already been turned enemies. So after that, the Mercy Corps trained us. They brought us down to a consensus, to dialogue. They taught us now how we can organize ourselves and conduct sports. Like let's take a case study of football or volleyball. Myself, practically, I went through volleyball. And we conducted this volleyball through, it was the Kikuyu community and the Kalenjin community. And we realized that during the match or the game, and at the end of the game, we were exchanging words bit by bit. They were coming actually, they themselves. We found automatically yourself, you could talk even without facing that guy. And then that fear was coming out also automatically. Firstly, in listening and in patience skills, you have to listen to that person and don't interfere when the person is talking. So you have to wait until the story is over. Now, in listening, as you know, as we've been taught, maybe from my little knowledge, listening, you have to involve your mentality, your mental. You have to understand and not just sympathize with that story, but empathize. That is putting yourself in his shoes. Now, in listening, you have to understand the stories that he's giving you. You have to maybe to infer, look for inference, maybe attach what he's telling you and the problems that were on the ground, and maybe look whether it was true, it is a true story, it is not a true story. So by understanding that now you have the response also have to be right, because when you have understood that problem, then the response you will give will automatically be telling my friend that we accepted what happened, because once a problem is or has arisen, it has to be solved. I told my friend that we have not to run away from these problems, but we who caused that problem have to come together again as before, sit down and talk and face that problem and really solve it. They have helped me up to date. What Mercy Corps have helped me, I can still use it. And also I've taught people, especially in my college, to that skill, to be patient, to listen, to be very keen, and to use maybe those sports, maybe participating in sports together. Like maybe where I stay in a hostel. It is in campus. It's called my university. And what my roommates happen to come from various communities. I'm a Kikuyu. My bedmate is a Kalenjin. And another fellow who also I stay with is a Luya. So during maybe the meals or during when we're having when you're reading together, when we're discussing like a topic in, let's say I'm taking communication. When you're discussing a topic in communication, now after learning those skills in communication and dialogue, we pause that discussion and then I ask my friend, hey, what really happened during the violence? And then the Kalenjin guy could actually tell me. That is being open-minded. The Luya guy could tell me what was happening from the Western Province part of the Kenya. Chemical engineering. No, sir. I want to change. I want to do communication studies. Something pressurized me to do communication studies, sir. Yeah, we had a meeting with the Mercy Corps in solving the problems during the violence and through dialogue. Yes, sir. Now, I feel that I should do communication studies so that I can use it to change to help people to in communication through dialogue and solving problems in future. Okay, I studied communication. Firstly, I was very good in mathematics and in physics during high school, and I wanted to do engineering. Now, after the post-election violence, I changed my mind. And I realized the power of communication, the power of dialogue, as a result of the Mercy Corps, what they skill us with, the power of dialogue. I had to take communication studies simply because communication and or dialogue, it is something that it is something that has the power to solve the problems, like the post-election violence. It is that communication, through communication you're able to share problems with people, understanding the problems that people are passing through, okay, and actually solving those problems, not violently, but using words diplomatically by dialogue. Yeah, I've shared with my family. Okay, my mother was very maybe difficult to understand the other community. But I told my mother, now, living here, you can't live alone. Of course, turning on your side, you see your neighbor is from a different community. You have to talk with that neighbor. You can't just stare with you can't just stare with them like this. By not speaking, maybe you can burst, and maybe the most easiest thing you can do is to talk, because talking will cost you nothing, and it will the result of that, the consequences of maybe communicating and dialogue, it's positive. That is how you're able to solve the problems and share your problems, understand each other, and come to a common background. That is a consensus, and that is how, in fact, they say communication is important as life itself. So that is dialogue, and I really thank the Mercy Corps that it is a skill that everybody must have, not I alone, but every person in Kenya and in other countries, maybe in Rwanda. In problems, I also urge that where there are problems, like in other countries where there are maybe debates over political powers, over what that maybe is triggering violence, to adopt the power of dialogue in solving their problems diplomatically. That is a skill that has been brought up by the Mercy Corps, and I find it very useful. Yeah.